Well, you know, I was born after the end of the Second World War, but I grew up in post-war Britain. And so the stories and the reality of what happened during the Second World War was very much a part of my youthful education, if you like. And I've always felt very strongly it was such an unbelievably traumatic event for the world, for Europe in particular, but all over the world, obviously for many nations, lost millions and millions of people. The Holocaust was one of the most monstrous occurrences in human history. I felt it. I still feel it's so important that we don't forget about it, and that the young are not taught about it, but should be aware of it and aware of the kind of sacrifices that people made, the kind of tragedy that people confronted, the kind of cruelty, the kind where when you perpetuate racism of any kind, the end of that road is what happened in the Second World War. So I just feel very strongly that we have to keep it alive in our mind. Julian plays my grandson, and he's a young teenager, and as many young teenagers do, he's going through a difficult time when he can't quite find his place in the world, and he's lashing out as a reaction to that. You know, Grand-mère, who has his grandmother, who has had this extraordinary history in her life of what happened to her when she was his age, is trying to make him understand that the world is, of course, is a complicated place with darkness, but as Martin Luther King says, you have to find the light within yourself. Darkness will never drive out darkness. So, you know, that is the lesson that she is trying to teach him, simply through telling him her life story. I mean, you know, Julien obviously has a lesson to learn. Hopefully, in the audience, there'll be a lot of other kids thinking about their own behavior, their own actions, their own, you know, cruelty, maybe, that they have participated in, and realize how, you know, how terribly, terribly wrong it is, and how the end of that journey can, you know, it can be so devastating, so extreme. So I do hope that this is a lesson that people will learn, and also the lesson of great courage, you know, the great courage of the families who hid people. I was reading fairly recently, it was just after I'd sort of committed to doing this film, and I happened to read an article about a whole village, a French village. The whole village had hidden people. Every single person in that village had hidden people, whether they were escaping, you know, pilots or airmen who'd fallen into France, or Jewish people, but the whole village were involved in hiding people, and the incredible courage that needed, because they would have been executed, every one of them, if this had been found out. You know, that's a courage that it's very hard to comprehend nowadays, isn't it, as we get further and further away from it. So yes, to learn about courage and to learn about kindness.
大ヒット映画「ワンダー君は太陽」から生まれたもう一つの物語。
I think for your sake I must.
Find her!
You need to come with me right now. I know a way out.
助けてくれた少年の勇気ある優しさが人々を変えていく。
When kindness can cost you your life, it becomes like a miracle.
ホワイトバード、始まりのワンダー。